actually going to help. It'll improve the property if they put in a store there.
You know, mine was on fumes with the Get Gas Now.
This item cannot be discussed or acted upon by the Planning Commission at this time. For items appearing on the agenda, the public will be invited to make comments at the time the item comes up for Planning Commission consideration. So that all interested parties have an opportunity to speak, any person addressing the Planning Commission may be limited to the discretion of the chair. At all times, please use the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Is there anybody that would like to address the Planning Commission on anything that is not on the agenda today? Okay, seeing none, we will move on. Item 3 is approval of minutes.
I'll make that motion to approve minutes unless anybody has any changes.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call?
Gong,
Yes.
Millies,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Whitlatch,
Yes.
Filiano,
Yes.
Maria, could you let Gil in, please?
Yes, sir.
Let the record show that Commissioner Aguilar is present at this time, although tardy.
Half a minute.
Hey, we run a tight ship here, bud. Okay, item 4 is the parcel map public hearings. An action on all parcel maps in this section of the agenda will be heard in one public hearing unless anyone wishing to discuss any of the items requested be pulled for separate public hearing. No staff presentation will be given on these items unless requested.
Chairman Diaz?
Yes.
We would like to discuss PPM 13-021.
That's 4A.
Correct.
Okay. So that would be 4A would be the tentative parcel map, PPM 13-021. Tom Franz with Neil Zerling as the surveyor. And Ann, yeah, this is a categorical exemption and tentative parcel map to allow the division of 2 parcels totaling 73.5 acres into 3 parcels. Parcel 1 at 1.02 acres, parcel 2 at 38.60, and parcel 3 at 38.81 acres in an AE 40 exclusive ag zone. The site's located on the east side of Road 156 between Avenue 376 and 384, southeast of Seville.
Yes, Chairman Diaz. In discussing with my colleague, Mr. Bond here, engineering did review this parcel map for a final map waiver, and what was of concern is the proposed 20-foot easement. If you look on tentative parcel map Exhibit A, there is a 20-foot easement on the northern portion of the property crossing rail, what is currently rail right-of-way. This does raise concerns about parcel 3 being a landlocked parcel, and in talking to the applicant, Neil Zerling, suggested at this time that we remove parcel 3 from this parcel map, and I'll let Mr. Bond discuss the ramifications of doing so.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to clarify, the concern is having an easement over the railroad property, which may very well be prescriptive, but it's not clear. So we would, in essence, be recommending that the commission approve a parcel map that has a landlocked parcel. So we would prefer that the access, the easement, be provided. In lieu of that, the applicant has indicated that they could remove parcel 3, requested that condition be made to this approval to approve parcels 1 and 2. Parcel 3, the status would essentially be a remainder parcel. That could also be clarified before the recording is made.
Okay. Mr. Zerling here? Oh, we're going to meet him?
That side is just...
Mr. Zerling, come forward, please. Thank you. Name and
Yes,
address.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. We're discussing last-minute developments on this. My name is Neil Zerlang. I'm a licensed land surveyor representing the Franzes on this project. I, again, apologize I missed the discussion. Are there specific questions I can address? If not, I have some comments perhaps that I can offer.
Okay, well, I think the issue here with the county is that they're concerned that one of the lots is going to be
Landlocked.
landlocked, that's the word, landlocked, and they want to pull that one from this approval. Do you want to?
Yes, I would like to clarify that, speak
Okay.
to that. First of all, this particular project was submitted June 11th to RMA, June 11th, 2013. And it's been a frustrating project for the Franzes and myself. I got a call at 7:30 this morning from Craig Anderson at RMA asking questions about the ownership of the railroad parcel that traverses the site diagonally as you see that on your map. Currently that is owned by the railroad and is being handled by a railroad holding company. The Franzes would like to purchase that at some time in the future, but have not been able to do so at this point in time. The Franzes have 3 generations farming out in this area. They acquired this particular parcel, I believe, in the 1980s. Since that time, they have been farming and crossing the railroad, even when the tracks were present. There are no tracks there now. They have been crossing with posted stop signs and railroad crossing signs at the north and south property lines of this particular parcel. My opinion is that a prescriptive right or prescriptive easement has clearly been established on this site, and they have the right to cross this railroad parcel. That is my opinion, and apparently RMA staff has a differing opinion on that. Due to the length of processing on this project and the desire of the Franzes to obtain an approval for the home site parcel, we will concede to the elimination of parcel 3 and look forward to the approval of the home site parcel, parcel 1. What will result then in today's decision is a home site parcel of 1.02 acres and a remaining parcel of approximately 77 acres. With that, I would be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Again, I'm frustrated to be dealing with this at the last hour, and I believe if we could have discussed this quite some months ago, that we would have come to a different result. But I appreciate your consideration this morning, and again, we'll answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Zerling, I think the county would agree to parcel 1 and 2 and leaving 3 as a remainder. Would that work for you, or do you want to have just the one parcel and
I would, if parcel 3 can be labeled a remainder, we would certainly be satisfied with that, but I'll have to defer to staff if that is even possible to do.
Well, I guess if we vote on it, then it's, it's appealable, but, I kind of like parcels 2 and a remainder 3, so just to kind of give you the way I'm thinking, just in case. I don't want you to have to go back.
yeah, we don't want to pull this and give you another 2 weeks or 30-day delay.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it for a year.
I understand, Bill. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may just make a brief comment, and then if my colleagues want to jump in, that would be fine. As I understand it, staff would take the position that the map would be depicted as parcel 1 and 2, with the third parcel as a remainder.
Okay, so we can't call it parcel 3 a remainder.
Yes.
Okay, does that satisfy you? I mean,
Parcel 3 would remain an unsubdivided remainder of the original parcel.
correct. That's what I hear it. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right.
That would, for clarification, that would still allow parcels 1 and 2 to be sold separately or conveyed separately or financed separately from the remainder parcel.
My understanding is yes.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you very much.
All right. Any questions?
Oh,
All right.
I will revise the map and legal descriptions appropriately to reflect that decision if approved this morning.
Okay.
I'd like to vote on it today if we can, so.
Yeah, I think is everybody, yeah, I think so, with the changes that he's going to make to the map. Well,
I'll make a motion that, it's still a public hearing, I'm sorry.
no, yes, that's right, it's still a public hearing. Thank you. Anybody else like to, I'm going to open up the public testimony portion of this. Anybody else like to provide testimony on this? Okay, seeing none, I will close the public testimony portion of the hearing, move back to the commission. There's no recommendation to be given, but we,
I'll move to approve a map to show parcels 1 and 2 and parcel 3 to be a remainder.
subject to Mr. Zerling's submission of the
Mission of the
changes.
changes.
Yes, and the resolution will be revised in accordance with those changes, and also please recommend approval of the CAT exam.
Okay,
Also approve categorical exemptions.
okay,
I second that motion.
okay, roll call.
Gong,
Yes.
Millies,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Whitlatch,
Yes.
Chiliano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on then, we're still in parcel map public hearings. Unless there's, okay, we're going to 4B. The tentative parcel map PPM 14-009, Ruben and Natalia Gonzalez with Forrester and Weber and Associates as agent. This is a categorical exemption and conditional approval of a tentative parcel map to allow the division of one 35.71 acre parcel into two parcels. Parcel 1 being a 29.87 acre and parcel 2 a 5.82 acre in an AE 20 zone, exclusively ag, 20 acre minimum. The size, the site is located in the northeast corner of Road 128 and Road 428, and that is near Rossi. This is a public hearing. If I'll open up the public testimony portion. Is there anybody that would like to comment on this? Okay, seeing none, close the public testimony portion. And I'm going to go ahead and go to C, and then we're going to do. Well, we'll just go ahead, finish this one then.
Want a
Do we have a
motion?
motion? Yes.
Make a motion to approve, subject to modifications, which there weren't any discussed by the commission, and move, no, we're not going to deny. Is there any approval of the categorical exemption also?
Yep, there is. Mm-hmm.
Make that motion. We conditionally approve tentative parcel map PPM 14-009, is that correct?
Yep. Roll
I'll
call.
second the motion.
Oh, I guess we need a second. Now we can do roll call.
I seconded the motion.
Gong,
Yes.
Millies,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Whitlatch,
Yes.
Chiliano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Okay, moving to 4C, this is a tentative parcel map number PPM 14-001, Winston George Galusha and Mary Therese Galusha and Nicholas Joseph Galusha with Randy Wozniak, Four Creeks as their agent. The categorical exemption and the conditional approval of tentative parcel map to allow the division of one 4.99 acre parcel into two parcels. Parcel 1A, a financing parcel of 1.25 acres. Parcel 2 is a 3.75 acre in an A1 ag zone. The site's located on the north side of Avenue 58 between Road 236 and Road 240. I'll open the public testimony or portion now. If somebody would like to come forward, please provide your name and address for the record. We're
Randy Wozniak, Four Creeks, 324 South Santa Fe, Visalia, California. I am a licensed land surveyor helping out the Galushas. The purpose of this map is actually a financing parcel, not to be confused with the physical parcel map. The purpose of it is so that the Galusha son can actually construct a home next to his parents and finance it separately through a bank for himself. And so it's a pretty straightforward map, but I just want to make sure that people understand that it's not an actual subdivision at this point. It's just a financing parcel. So we still got to go through the same process, but that's kind of what we're stuck with. So, but I'm here to answer any questions if you guys do have any.
Guess not.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else like to provide testimony on this issue today? Seeing none, I will close the public testimony portion. Move back to the commission.
I'd like to ask the staff, we've had these discussions before. I certainly understand a financing parcel, but sometimes over years they get confused with real parcels. They are parcels, but they're only financing parcels. And so how does that work? Is that a problem for the county when...
No, the real estate industry has to be astute when they look at the parcel maps that there's a limitation that it's not for sale or lease, it's only for financing.
So it's a non-transferable parcel, it only goes, but what if the bank forecloses on it and the court says, oh, well, this is a parcel?
Well, it's debatable. That's one of those gray areas whereby the land use power has to work in coexistence with the judicial foreclosure power, and we have to just work it out the best we can.
But that's not a problem for the county, it hasn't been?
There's no evidence right now that there's a problem. It's theoretical.
Thank you.
Well, the county's had financing parcels foreclosed upon in the past, have they not?
I'm sure at the beginning of time that has occurred.
Not on your watch. Okay.
So it doesn't count, yeah. That's
Okay. I'll take a motion.
Make that motion that we approve the tentative partial map PPM 14001 and a category exemption.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Gong,
Yes.
Millies,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Whitlatch,
Yes.
Filiano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Now, when we made that motion, we didn't have to call it a financing parcel?
The staff recommendation covers the ground.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, 5A is a public hearing. This is a special use permit number PSP 14-028. This is Airdrome Orchards and Paul Boldo. Categorical exemption and special use permits to allow the installation of one 1,440 square foot mobile office on a 4,000 square foot portion of a 40 acre parcel in an AE20 zone. The site is located on the west side of Road 172, approximately 2,000 feet south of Avenue 344, north of Ivanhoe. And Dana is our contact. Go ahead, Dana, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good morning. As you mentioned, this is a special use permit for a mobile office for Airdrome Orchards. And the project is categorically exempt from CEQA pursuant to Title 14, Section 15303, pertaining to new construction or conversion of small structures. And this project is compatible with this exemption because a mobile office is less than 2,500 square feet. That is dark.
Got how to work it.
Entitlement is found in section 16, which allows expansion, alteration, or replacement of non-conforming buildings and uses which were legally established in accordance with all applicable building and zoning regulations on or before the effective date of a reclassification of zones encompassing the property and which are non-conforming under section 15, which is pertains to non-conforming buildings and uses. If such non-conforming building is removed or destroyed, it may be replaced with a new non-conforming building of similar use and intensity if a special use permit is secured.
Dana, just a question. Why is an office, I mean, this is an ag operation, is it not?
It is.
You can't it's non-conforming to build an office on your farm?
That is correct. You would you would need a special use permit for an office structure on your farm.
Especially today.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I thought you could do that to operate your business.
Well, in the section pertaining to zone, it lists all of the items, the uses that you can have, and you can grow and you can sell, and all the other agricultural things. You can store your equipment, but there is no listing for an office.
Interesting. All right. Well, that explains it. Thank you.
Welcome. The project is located in the Rural Valley Lands Plan, land use element of the Tulare County General Plan, and the land use designation is Valley Agriculture. And this project was found to be consistent with the applicable Tulare County General Plan policies. The project is located on the west side of Road 172, approximately 2,000 feet south of Avenue 344, north of Ivanhoe. The project is located in the AE, let's say 20 zone, and contains a citrus orchard, storage buildings, and an existing office which is to be demolished. The surrounding properties are zoned AE20 and contain agriculture and scattered rural residences. Here's an aerial view. The project would install a 1,440 square foot mobile office and septic tank leach line system to be utilized for conducting the business of Airdrome Orchards. This is a 40-acre parcel. Airdrome Orchards purchased this property in 1965, which is the approximate date of the existing 912 square foot office. That office is legal non-conforming, and it will be demolished, and this special use permit will provide entitlement for the new office that will be located on the site, but not on the existing footprint. The project site also contains a domestic well, irrigation well, and a couple sheds and storage.
I'm sure there's septic system there as well. Is that right?
There is one right now, I believe, which will be replaced with the new structure.
Okay.
This is the site plan, and this is the old office right here, which will be replaced with the new office located just north of it. And 5 employees work at the site. Their hours are generally Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. The installation of the office and septic system will last approximately 3 days. And this project will not change the number of employees or the number of trips generated at the site. There's also 15 parking spaces surfaced with asphalt that are located on the site. This is an aerial view from Google Maps just recently. And the subject parcel is under Williams Neck contract. The project conforms to the principles of compatibility as set forth in Government Code Section 51238-1. This is a picture of the entrance, a couple hundred feet down there. And this project was noticed according to the law. Staff did not receive any comments about the project. And planning staff is recommending that your commission approve a categorical exemption consistent with CEQA and conditionally approve special use permit number P-028.
Thank you, Dana. Any questions for Dana? Go ahead, Mayor.
Dana, can you go back to the last picture that showed, the one where, that's the entrance to where the office will be?
That is. It's a couple hundred feet, I believe, down there, as you can see in this photo. That was a truck that was parked along the side of the orchard there?
So is there a road into there? It looks like a road there, but it doesn't look like a road in that picture.
Well hidden.
That's the road?
As I was going down, the road on Google Maps, yes, this is the entrance.
Wider on the top picture, huh?
Oops, went too far. Any questions?
Any other questions? Thank you, Dana. I'll open up the public testimony portion. And anybody like to come forward and speak on this issue today? Either for or against it? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public testimony portion. Move it back to the commission. We have a recommendation. Any comments?
I'll make the motion to approve this project and approve the categorical exemption for PSP 14-028. That enough?
That'll do it.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Gong,
Yes.
Millies,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Whitlatch,
Yes.
Juliano, Aguilar,
Yes.
If you notice these numbers, they're all 14, staff. Good job. We get things done as a county.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 5B is another special use permit, number PSP 14-017, Salvador Ochoa. This is a categorical exemption and a special use.
015.
What did I say?
7.
I'm sorry. This is PSP 14-015. And it's a categorical exemption and special use permit to amend an M2 use permit, number 50-014, and reestablish an automotive wrecking and used car sales business on a 1.5 acre portion of a 2 acre parcel located in the A1 zone. The site's located on the east side of South Mirage Drive, north of the intersection with Road 220 and approximately 1/2 mile south of Lindsay. April? You have
Morning,
the floor.
Chairman Diaz and Commissioners. The M2 use permits was a designation before we did this PSP special use permit, but it's back. First use permit on the site was approved in 1950. The application was not filed in response to a code compliance violation, and the use was discontinued in 2008, and the applicant is working diligently to bring it up to standards, even before review by your commission.
This will be the third approval because there was another one in 1950.
53, yeah, 53, 54, yes. They expanded a bit.
They're moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
Expanding again.
70 years later, yeah. The site's located at a Y intersection between South Mirage, which is also Orange Belt Drive, at the intersection with Harvard, and about 1/2 mile south of City of Lindsay. Inside the Lindsay UAB urban area boundary, but outside the urban development boundary, subject to Rural Valley Lands Plan, which designates it for valley agriculture. However, that particular triangle-shaped area contains several service commercial businesses. An RVLP evaluation is advisory only, but was prepared and resulted in a point score of 11 points where non-agricultural use is considered appropriate. City of Lindsay did not respond to a consultation request. Proposal is in compliance with relevant policies of the Tulare County General Plan, in that land designated for agriculture allows compatible uses upon approval of a special use permit. Property is zoned A1, as are the surrounding properties. To the east are AE20 zoned properties, exclusive ag. Prior to 1973, the A1 zone permitted any use whatsoever, except that some activities, including heavy industrial activities such as a wrecking yard, were needed a special use permit. Zoning ordinance has since then limited such uses to commercial and manufacturing zones and have added requirements. These requirements have been incorporated into the use permit conditions of approval. Here's an aerial taken in 2007 before the previous operator retired. You can see the lot is pretty full of vehicles. Surroundings include a welding shop, an auto repair shop, an ag service establishment. I got to process that use permit too. Tire store, residences, and orange groves. The site is on Old Highway 65, and it's bordered by railroad tracks. Zooming out a bit, the packing sheds and ag services along the Lindmore Avenue to the north, and there's a gas station and ag equipment manufacturing at Citrus Avenue intersection on the south. Here's a 2011 aerial of the site after the previous owner's yard closed down. There's an office on the site, a C-train storage container. The driveway and parking area are asphalt. There's a couple of concrete pads where dismantling will take place. There's a chain link fence around the perimeter. And there's an open yard with a deep decomposed granite base. There's a single-family residence on the east that is not part, but is owned by but is occupied by the property owner. And there's a welding shop that is also not a part of this project. Business will operate year-round with 8-hour shifts on Monday to Friday and a 4-hour shift on Saturday. The operator and one employee will work at the facility. No business expansion or additional structures are anticipated, although shade structures may be erected on the existing concrete pads. By conditions of approval, dismantling is required to take place on a solid surface and within a building. And a building, according to our zoning ordinance, is defined as a permanently located structure with a roof. So the shade structure will meet that qualification. No vehicle maintenance or truck washing will be conducted on the site. There's direct access from Mirage Drive. Public Works recommended conditions of approval to construct a drive approach. The fire department requires an adequate water supply for fire department suppression with either a fire hydrant or with a water tank, and the applicant and property owner are aware of that water tank requirement. Environmental Health Services required the applicant to submit a hazardous materials business plan before project approval. HAZMAP plan was filed this month, and fees will be paid within 30 days of commencing operations. Conditions of approval are included for the applicant to comply with the state and local hazardous materials laws. Here's some site photos of the screening that the applicant has installed around the yard. Here's how it was before. And this is a welding shop on the parcel that's not a part of this project, plus a view to the south, a view to the west, view to the north on Mirage, and further north there's a tire shop that has been informed that they need to have a use permit.
Is that the California tire business?
Yeah, a new one that just came in.
That's not part of this.
Not a part of this. It's about two parcels north. Saw that, gave them a call, and they're going to be bringing in a use permit application also. Okay. According to the California Natural Diversity Database, the Lindsay Quad, the general quad, contains habitat for striped adobe lily, unlikely to occur on this site. And it's not near a waterway, wetlands, and therefore not likely to contain cultural resources either. Project is determined to be categorically exempt from CEQA, Section 15301, pertaining to the operation of existing private facilities involving no expansion of use beyond that existing at the time of the determination. Conditions of approval are included to bring the facility up to current standards. The applicant is here. If you have any questions for him, Senor Ochoa. And public notice was mailed to surrounding property owners, published in the Visalia Times Delta. Unfortunately, the only adjudicated publication in the county. No comments were received. This ends staff report. Do you have any questions for me or for the applicant through his translator?
Just real quick, now, is there any activity going on there now? You said this wasn't to come into compliance.
It was not in, he's not operating now.
Okay, so prior to this, it was just an abandoned site?
Right, for the last 4 years.
Not abandoned, discontinued.
Discontinued. That's what I can...
Okay, now, was this permit, the M2, that's permit 50-1014, was that to the notice of discontinuance then? Or what is that?
Notice of discontinuance.
It just stopped working?
Correct.
Okay.
As he's been...
For clarification.
What's the difference between abandoned and stopped working?
Thank you. You interrupted me because I was just going to tell you. An abandonment would be a legal determination subject to a public hearing where evidence must be taken. You can't just willy-nilly say that a use permit has been abandoned because that would not be appropriate. At worst, the evidence is ambiguous, so it would be in the public interest to upgrade the site to ensure that it's in compliance with county standard rather than go through a lengthy, laborious evidentiary process, which probably would accomplish nothing.
Okay. You guys get that? All right. Yep. Any other questions?
April, can you share where the different activities are on this parcel as far as auto wrecking versus auto sales? How does that lay out there? I can't tell.
I believe this whole area will be storage of vehicles.
Wrecked.
Right, and sort out the good ones from the bad ones, or the possibly sellable ones from the ones that will be just used for sale of parts.
And the sale of autos will be where?
I am making the assumption that it'll be close to the office.
There. So that crosshatched area is...
That's the asphalt parking area.
The parking area for displaying vehicles, or?
Most probably for customers and the applicant and his employee. But we can get clarification from him.
So that's all fenced. I know some of it's fenced in now, but is that all fenced in there?
Yeah, there's a block wall up here, and then there's chain link fence around the perimeter. And as you saw, the screening from public view here. So there's an existing sign, pole sign, that will be updated.
Thank you.
And the maximum expected number of vehicles to be stored on the site is 30. So it'll be less intensive than the aerial that we saw from 2007.
Anyone, any other questions? Thank you, April. I'll open up the public testimony portion on this, and Mr. Ochoa would like to come up and explain to us what his plans are here.
I'm just a translator for him, okay?
Okay. Name and address up here for the record, because we're taping this.
I'm George Sanchez. Salvador Ochoa.
Su dirección.
Address?
Address es 1.
El tuyo.
El mío. 1266 West Pangnan, Forestville, California.
Okay. Is this his? Let me. What was the question on this? Were you the operator early before it was discontinued?
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
He's just trying to start the business up now.
Okay. Well, that's getting a little more clear then to me as to what's going on here. Do you have any other operations or any other businesses like this?
No tiene otro negocio así, ¿verdad? Ahorita
No.
Not at this time, no. So,
Is there any other uses that you feel like you need to do that aren't written here? I mean, we want to make sure you're in compliance. Do you understand that? In other words, if there's something that you think you're going to do that we're short on giving approval, I want to know, we want to make sure you're in compliance, not breaking the law.
nomás va a ser para carros, es todo, ¿verdad? Nada más.
Sí, para desmantelar carros.
Not really, it's just a strictly wrecking yard, that's it. That's all he's going to do there.
Those 30 cars include the wrecked cars or just 30 cars? Once you take
For
them
sale.
apart,
Well, 30 cars would be just whatever comes in there, you know. Some will be wrecked, some won't be wrecked, but they probably won't be running. They're just a regular wrecking yard, that's all it's going to be.
And he will sell some of them.
Parts, just parts, you know.
and could we crush or haul off the bodies that aren't usable then?
Y los carros que no sirven los muelen, los llevan a tirar.
Yo tengo una traila para llevarlos a tirar.
Okay, he don't crush them, he don't have a crusher, but he will tow them off on a trailer, you know.
Yeah.
I'm worried that 30 cars is not enough, so if someone complains.
Well, he
I think you mentioned that there was going to be auto sales on here too, and I don't think there is, right? I mean, what you're saying, there's not going to be automobile sales, just parts.
Just parts, that's all it is. It's just a regular wrecking yard parts, that's it.
And you also, wasn't there also a mechanic shop, or that's separate?
There's a welding shop on the site that's
Welding, but
not
not
part.
mechanic shop.
So we're not going to do used cars?
So it's not used car sales.
Es lo que te digo.
That's what it says here.
Yeah, sorry.
Ya pensaba que iba a vender carro ahí, pero que no.
Oh, no.
Bueno, sí.
Says,
Sí, un
and
carrito, dos,
used
dígale
car
que
sales
sí,
business.
que sí puedo vender.
If he was to sell cars there, is there a different permit or anything that he needs to do separate?
Well, that's what this says, is that
Yeah.
going to include
Que
that.
sea Selvis, pues, Selvis.
Oh, salvage cars, would be able to sell those?
Yeah. Yes, with this permit, he would
He
be
will?
able to sell those. That's
Okay,
right.
well
With-
then-
If you had a
okay.
salvage title and rebuilt the title, is that what
Yes.
you're saying? Yeah.
Yes, okay, then he will
So,
then. And he'll do that then.
Okay.
Just anything to get the business going and it's a new venture for him. And he wants to make a go
Right.
of it, so.
Is 30 cars going to be enough?
Con 30 carros va a ser bastante, pues te van a permitir 30.
Yo, pues si pudiera unos 50 estaría bien, pero no sé si hay
Can you
que-
do more than 30 or just 30 is the limit?
Well, how many you want? Tell us.
Maybe 50?
Jeez.
Maybe 50?
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know if 50 is too much, but
Excuse me,
Paul,
Chairman. We did the environmental on 30 cars, and I think limiting to 30 cars at this point.
Limit?
And changing the resolution to include used car part sales should be adequate to address these concerns today.
okay.
Okay.
30. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
it's okay.
30.
30 is what it is. As you said, we did the environmental study on 30, and now we just can't willy-nilly change it without
Okay.
redoing the study.
Okay, then 30.
It's okay.
Okay? Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else at this time like to make comments on this issue? Please come forward with your name and address, please.
Hello, my name's John Lawson, and my address is 14513 Avenue 340 in the Visalia area, the more Ivanhoe area. And I am the ranch manager for W.H. Latimer Properties, which is in San Clemente. And they own the 80 acres that's just east of this parcel. And I apologize that we didn't get something in writing to this, but they've had health problems with one of the trustees. And so I got this at 5 o'clock last night. And in all honesty, I don't know anybody in this room that would want a junkyard next to their orange grove. This is all citrus around this area, except for this little community that's right here in this triangle. And if anybody's, I know Wayne probably drove by there, but it's not a very nice area to begin with. In fact, it's pretty trashy. And to have a wrecking yard there now with, 50 cars?
30.
30 cars. In all honesty, the trustees don't want it there. It's just, it's hard enough to do ag practices now with our sprays and all of our practices, and to add more confusion into this area is just really going to be complicated. And not to say it really devalues your properties. I mean, I've in the past, I had some ag property on 328 across the street from that junkyard. And what a mess. It was an ongoing battle because when people go in, and I know this from experience, when they go in and they buy a battery or they buy a power steering part or whatever it is, you get the old part thrown in your orchard. And I know that for a fact because I've lived it. But the trustees, which they have 80 acres here to the east of this parcel, really do not want that there.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. April, could you point out with the pointer where the subject is in relation to these 80 acres? April.
Yeah, right where you're. Yes. They have 80 acres there. One is called the Boren Ranch, and the other, the 20 beside it, is called the Orr Ranch. And the trust, well, it's two daughters. It's the Latimer girls that own it, but the trustees, there's two trustees, a Karen Rodman and a Jolene Borba, that are the trustees of this parcel. And I've been farming for them now for about 15 years. And that whole little commune that's there on the left, it's not nice at all. I think they're all pretty much rentals, and they're just, it's an eyesore. Wayne, would you agree?
No, I know it's there. I haven't scrutinized it because I go by there all the time.
Yeah, it's not nice. There's definitely no pride in ownership there now.
Is that all motorhomes in there?
Motorhomes?
Or
Mobile homes?
Mobile
No,
homes.
they're like little old rentals.
Oh, okay.
They're probably,
So they're
they're
They were
old.
farming housing at one time.
Well,
farm worker.
yeah, and it's dirty.
Isn't there a fueling station just to the?
But that's on the other side of the Orr Ranch. That's down next to Vamco. That's more on the highway. We're talking this triangle piece here.
Right.
Yeah. Basically, Latimers, the trustees of Latimers, do not want a wrecking yard next to their property.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lawson.
I'm sorry we didn't get this in earlier, but I got this at 5 o'clock last night.
It's all right.
Mrs. Rodman's mom's been very sick.
Well, that's why we've got the public hearing. That way you can come forward and be part of the record.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, directing your attention to page 9, condition number 38 of the proposed resolution. While you're moving there, I'll just read it. The applicant shall ensure that the storage areas are screened from public view by a 6-foot-high solid wall or fence or compact evergreen hedge. Stored material should not exceed the height of the screening fence. And this condition will ensure, and it's subject to enforcement, that there will not be any aesthetic blight concerning the operation of the facility. And if I might add, if you'll take a look at this report, there was an extensive general plan policy analysis, an outstanding analysis, and what we're trying to do through these projects, albeit there may be a challenged area, what we're trying to do is upgrade these areas consistent with the policies and the development standards. We're trying to make the situation better by doing this, not worse.
Okay.
And if I may too, to include a little bit in the environmental document, the CEQA component of it, we did conduct an expanded categorical exemption. We feel that it was hazardous and hazardous materials were adequately addressed. If there's any concern about potential fluids leaking out, there is a requirement that any dismantling of parts be on a concrete surface, and nothing is allowed to go into to groundwater into the soil. So they do have to get a Tulare County Environmental Health Permit too. So they have to comply with the hazardous materials component of that. So they're not going to do any washing of vehicles or anything, so you're not going to get water that would percolate into the soils. So if you look at it from that perspective, we like to think that the conditions of approval and the project description are going to make this a safe use.
Okay.
Chairman, the access is also on Orange Belt Mirage and not directly onto, next to the commenter's property.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I have a question on the housing that's nearby here. How is that permitted on this parcel, and how many people live there? I mean, because it would seem to me that, I mean, have we examined the effect of the environment on the residences that are there, and how are they permitted in there in the first place?
Mr. Chairman, the property owner is the daughter of the original operator, one of the operators, and has communicated with us too. She continues to live there.
Yeah. So do we know how many people are living there, and has there been water testing, or what's the situation up there? I'm not familiar with that parcel, and it looks sort of out of place from what's around it. I'm just wondering how it got there, that's all.
Well, excuse me, but actually, if you read this, it says that the water recommendation is for bottled water.
Yes, because
from
of
that water district.
Yeah.
irrigation district.
For this particular permitted use?
For all the,
No, for the
for
whole area,
all-
sure.
for all
They
of
don't
the
just say,
residents. Oh,
they
okay.
don't just say a junkyard can use bottled water.
I got you. Okay, that
I'm guessing
makes
it's bottled
sense.
water around that.
Irrigation district water.
Uh-huh.
Gotcha. Okay. I wasn't clear on that.
They're half mile south of city of Lindsay, so if Lindsay expands, they'll be in good shape, better shape.
So my thought, can I say this, is that those places that you're questioning, maybe if places like this come in, eventually it will upgrade the area and those other places will subside.
So a wrecking yard would be an upgrade to the residential area?
Maybe.
Mr. Lawson, no.
Maybe.
I've never seen a wrecking yard up.
Sit down, Mr. Lawson, sit down, please. Thank you.
Just wondering about that. Okay.
But the yard exists as it is anyway, so.
Discussion, if there's no more, certainly.
Let's do that. Is there anybody else who would like to make comments on this? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the public testimony portion, move it back to the commission. And I think we'll need to, April, you have a recommendation to put up? There you go.
I would also add as amended. Up to recommend that the Figure Commission approve the categorical exemption and conditionally approve special use permit ESP 14015 as amended,
What did we amend?
adding used car parts, sale of used car parts.
Parts instead of autos.
And auto.
It's a salvage yard, doesn't
Yeah,
that
but
come with the word
description-
salvage?
The description, it said, and used car sales,
Okay.
car parts.
That was a clarification, excuse me, Chairman, that was a clarification to the resolution that I suggested that we make based on Commissioner Milley's
Okay.
comments.
Okay. All right.
Make that motion if it's appropriate.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion. Roll call.
Gong,
Yes.
Millies,
Yes.
Elliott,
No.
Diaz,
Yes,
Whitlatch,
Yes?
Itliano,
and the motion is
Aguilar?
passed. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
We lost. Motion passes. Okay, let's move on now. You doing okay, Mr. Whitlatch?
I'm gonna head out, so.
You told me you had to leave early, right? Okay. Mr. Whitlatch has another engagement. He's going to be leaving us at this point. Item 6A is the director's report.
Thank you. Any comments from the Public Works Director?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just as a brief update on what we're currently doing, we're very excited to be working on 3 complete street projects, and we're coordinating very closely with the planning branch. Aaron Bach is really coordinating this effort, and we're supporting that, currently doing the survey work for the project in Traver, in Goshen, and in Pixley. So these are all three important projects, and we have a very aggressive schedule. We plan to have all the plans, specs, and estimates done by the end of August here. So very positive set of projects here. And please don't mention to Aaron that we're going to do everything possible to meet his schedule.
On the planning side of the Complete Streets process, last night we did have a meeting with the Pixley School Board, and we actually walked Court Street as part of this Complete Streets program, and we pointed to and discussed Public Works is currently doing a Safe Routes to School project, which is going to complete both sides of Court Street to the school. But as far as the Complete Streets, we're also looking at the lateral streets off of that Court Street and how to finish the improvements on Main Street. So we walked with the community. We had 15 attendants last night, including the superintendent, and had a really good discussion. And from that feedback, we'll go and progress to design. That was very, it was a good opportunity. Another one we're working on is Goshen, and we have today, at 2 o'clock, we have a meeting at the elementary school in regards to the community plan update and the Complete Streets. And that'll be kind of a kickoff meeting. And from this meeting, we'll have future meetings pretty much every 2 weeks there. In regards to Traver, we are progressing on the design side fairly quickly, and so we should have that Complete Streets and community plan done, obviously within the summer time frame, but hopefully in the July time frame. So we'll get our first Complete Streets and our community plan, our first one in, so to say. So we're doing an awful lot of stuff, including trying to get rid of these old 13 cases that are still sticking around. As you saw today, they're a little bit tougher, but hopefully we'll move through in the next month or two and get rid of the remainder of those.
On that Pixley project, the school is pretty far. It's almost out of town. I mean, it used to be out of town. Now, how far does that go back into town? What you're trying to complete, all the way to the freeway, or?
No, the immediate Safe Routes to School grant, I think is about a block short of the overpass. But the Complete Streets program is going to go all the way to. We were assigned streets by TCAG when they gave us a grant, but it's going to go all the way to Main Street. So we're going to look to
all the way over.
Look to increase the safety in that area. Caltrans has program concept level designs that they're moving forward on to expand the freeway through Pixley. So we're going to integrate that as well. So we're looking to make it as safe as possible to get from Main Street all the way to the school for pedestrian and bicycle access.
Does that include like a bike pedestrian path and or sidewalks, or both, or how does this?
Right now, given the right of way, we're looking pretty much at sidewalks for the Safe Routes to School component. As part of the Complete Streets, we're going to suggest bicycle paths. So if any opportunities do arise in regards to funding, and or we can find the right of way within that, then we would look to do something in regards to bicycles. The suggestion I would have at this point is probably do something akin to a bike route. But if there is enough right of way, then the bike lane could potentially be accommodated. But that'll be a policy level discussion in the circulation element of the community plan, and that'll be due to the Complete Streets program. What's that? Oh, in Early Mart, we've actually progressed the community plan, I'd say, to 25%. We are just beginning to do kickoff meetings in Early Mart for their community plan update, per the suggestion of Supervisor Vanderpool. He had a couple of contacts for us, so we're gonna start those meetings as well.
Very good, thank you.
There was a planned park for Early Mart. Is that still on?
The
or-
park is still on. I think they're still going through some negotiations for the contract for the design. And as far as the environmental and the permitting, it's all done. So it's just really the design and the construction is kind of left to do.
That's correct.
And in Early Mart, you have not planned the route yet. Is this just all starting up in Early Mart? So the route, I was just wondering if
The Complete Streets process, we have not received funding for, but the community plan itself has begun. And so I think we're looking forward to doing Complete Streets to pretty much most of these communities.
Is Caltrans planning on going all the way down to Early Mart?
As far as I understand it, yes.
So that has to be widened also, so that has to.
Correct. And one lane would be added to both sides of the freeway.
And as the follow-up for Complete Streets, we expect to receive funding next fiscal year, which is only in a few months, and we will add the Complete Streets program to the Early Mart Community Plan. You'll see what we're trying to do here is really have a coordinated effort between environmental planning and public works in channeling our funding in order to get the maximum effort on all different disciplinary and levels. So, you know, the management system is working and we're moving projects forward. So when Aaron basically indicated in line with Mike, 4 community plans are in the process of being updated. And after Hector's comments, I'll talk about the 5th one. That's 5 community plans we're working on. And next year, 4 or 5 more.
I have just very few comments. Also, in addition to the Early Mart Park that Commissioner Aguilar raised, part of the Complete Streets Safe Route to Schools, if you will, that park project also has a component to include sidewalks on the parallel to the park or adjacent to the park. So that's going to help stretch out the monies even further when we do the Safe Routes to School, because the immediate vicinity around the school is going to get new sidewalk too. So that worked out really well. We, on Friday, released a program EIR for the flood control project that we're doing in the North County. It's adjacent to the juvenile detention facility. That component is Cottonwood Creek. It also extends further to do some flood improvement culverts and a potential a floodwater basin of the size hasn't been determined yet, but for Seville and Yedem. So those communities flooded at the last big event, 2011, 2012. It's a 45-day review period. It started Friday, like I mentioned, and it's going to end on July 7th. I remember that because that's my son's birthday. He turns 21. Woohoo! And Aaron was very instrumental in helping us move the project forward. Mr. Bond could attest to the fact that Aaron has simultaneously not only preparing the document, the environmental document, Aaron has been the lead in getting or moving the process forward to get necessary Army Corps of Engineer permits or anything from Department of Cal Fish and Wildlife, those kind of things. So it's a very integrated project, and we're thinking like for a bank of $1 million for these projects is going to prevent millions of dollars of potential future flooding. It's inevitable to flood there, so we're going to strain out the creek. We're going to put in some culverts. We're going to put stormwater temporary detention basins to manage the flows so it doesn't overwhelm the system. So that EIR should be finished. It's a program EIR, has 3 projects, big projects, on July 7th. That will go directly to the board, though. That will not come to your commission. It will at a future date when we move forward on the SMARA component of a sand and gravel operation that the county is currently operating. When we move a little west, we'll bring that to you. But the environmental will be done, so that'll be good. And that's basically what I have.
Thank you. Just very briefly, just a couple of comments. The 5th community plan on updating is Three Rivers. We're meeting monthly. Dave Bryant and myself primarily are working our way through the policies, and hopefully we'll get the environmental document, which would be an EIR, prepared and out, if not by the end of this calendar year, the beginning of next fiscal year. But the bottom line I want to say is you can probably detect in trying to get a lot of this good work, good professional work out, there's a rhythm and a flow within the branches and with the divisions within the branches where we're all working together rather than working independently. We're working in a coordinated fashion, and you're probably seeing the results of how things are really moving ahead. And as I might say, when we have difficult projects, what we're trying to do is show our allegiance to the new general plan policies and doing the best that we can to improve the situation and not letting a bad situation stay the way it is, but moving forward in such a way that the policies that you all considered and recommended for approval are actually being carried out on the ground, because that's what it's all about. Planning policies and standards and so forth have the purpose of actually being carried out on the ground. And if they're not being carried out through the entitlement process, that's when the enforcement process will kick in. So we are working on trying to be coordinated in carrying out your wishes through the general plan. That's all I have.
Questions? Okay, good.
I'll make one more comment on those streets. During the summer, it's not that big a deal, but when it rains, the kids pretty much have to walk on the streets because I did that for many years. But that's how important that is. When it gets wet, that is just
Or if a car
extreme.
goes by.
Pardon me?
Or if a car goes by, those kids have to scatter. It's
Oh, yeah,
crazy.
absolutely. It is extremely dangerous when it's
Very
wet, that's for
dangerous.
sure.
Yes, and that's as Mike just said, that's what it's all about. And I think the Safe Routes to School money that hopefully will flow from the Complete Streets process and from the community plan updates will accommodate a lot of those concerns.
Interesting on that. I went by the school, and something caught my eye, and I don't think it's the Safe Routes that does it, but maybe it's just our whole lifestyle. Very few bicycles at the schools now. Maybe because of theft, there could be 1,000 reasons. But then I just thought, now that caught my eye, I'm gonna look. So I went by Cherry Avenue School in Tulare. Same thing. Very few bicycles parked at they have safe streets in Tulare, so, it makes me wonder if maybe it's just a different
Cultural change.
cultural change.
Well, there's a couple reasons for that too, and I know in Three Rivers it's similar. A lot more parents totally paranoid about letting the kids even walk to school. And the bike thing, we really, from a planning standpoint, and especially in Three Rivers, we have missed the boat on making it walkable and bikeable. We should have been planning that years ago, because now we're in this healthcare crisis, which kids just do not do this stuff. And the safe streets are a good step in that direction, because they do encourage that. And it'd be good to see some of the parents who are stay-home parents worrying about this walking with the kids to school. And that's what the safe streets can do. And the bike paths are critical because they kind of need to take the kids out of traffic, if they possibly can. That's tough when you've built everything right up to the roadway and there's no right-of-way. We're dealing with that in Three Rivers right now, too.
But I commend you. We're headed there.
Thank you. As a comment, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, the Safe Routes to School, Complete Streets, Bike and Ped, Cap and Trade, these are all the legislative priorities. And once the priorities are set by the legislature in certain areas, that's where the funding will be appropriated and then allocated to the local jurisdictions. So what we are trying to do is facilitate those programs, and as a result, in terms of the Public Works infrastructure program, priority one is the grouping of these projects: Safe Routes to School, Complete Streets, Bike and Ped, Cap and Trade, so that now the communities will start to enjoy lifestyle differences. And if the behavior, if you will, of the school children is such, what we're trying to do is facilitate a change in behavior by making those physical conditions more conducive to that happening rather than not happening.
Well, a good way to understand it, too, is this isn't a process that's going to happen overnight, because in Three Rivers, we built everything right down to the roadway, right down, no right-of-way at all. In the last couple of years, we've had 2 old places burned, the cider mill and the White Horse. Now, with the planning that's in there, the new construction is being set back some. So we're planning for that, and it's going to take a generation or two to, get it back to where we should have done it in the first place.
Anything else?
Further, thank you.
All right, I see that our next meeting is going to be on June 11th. I will not be here. I'll be on vacation.
Where are you going this time?
Going to Pismo.
Oh, nice.
Well, you can come back for a couple hours.
I could have.
Especially in that hot rod truck you have.
Yeah, come on, it's only a 2-hour drive. I'll be in Las Vegas, and that's a much longer drive.
You fly back easy.
I can fly back, yeah.
Okay. There's nothing else. We're adjourned until June 11th, 2014. Same room, 9 o'clock.
The gavel, that's it.
Mel's going to be the
Mel's going to be here.
That's gonna be the leader.